It was just past midnight, and I'd finally parked my car after a long, exhausting shift. I was looking forward to nothing more than a hot shower and crashing into bed. I don't know why, but the night felt colder than usual. The air was still, and every sound seemed louder. My boots echoed as I walked up the driveway, and I was just about to pull out my keys when something stopped me. A faint rustling noise came from the bushes along the side of the house. I froze, my eyes narrowing as I tried to make out any movement. I brushed it off quickly. It could have been a stray cat or a raccoon. But as I turned back to unlock the door, a new sound, a low, drawn-out sigh, reached my ears. Goosebumps prickled up my arms. It was hard to ignore this time. I took a few cautious steps toward the sound, squinting into the darkness. Then, just as I was about to step back, I saw it. A dark figure crouched down, hidden within the bushes. I stumbled back, my heart pounding as I quickly fumbled for my phone, ready to call the police. But just then, the figure bolted upright and ran. My flashlight caught a brief glimpse of a face, a pale, twisted expression that seemed almost joyful. I staggered back, my heart pounding. "What the?" I whispered under my breath, shaken by the encounter. Trying to catch my breath, I quickly unlocked the door and stepped inside, locking it immediately behind me. I checked every window, every door, making sure they were all locked tight. The face of that stranger lingered in my mind, that twisted smile. Just as I was about to relax, I heard a knock at the door. I stayed silent, not daring to move. My hand was still on the lock, my heartbeat loud in my ears. Then, another knock, harder this time. Gathering whatever courage I had left, I leaned close to the door and called out, "Who's there?" No answer. But just as I thought the silence would stretch on forever, a low voice, almost a whisper, responded from the other side. "I saw you looking at me." A chill ran down my spine. I stepped away from the door, my mind racing. Whoever this was, they were clearly trying to scare me. But why? Who were they? I was ready to call the police when the lights in my living room flickered, then went out. I stood there, frozen, as the darkness settled around me. The room was silent, but outside, I heard soft footsteps on the porch. They stopped just outside the door, and I held my breath, praying that whoever it was would just leave. But then, a voice whispered through the door, "Don't you want to know why I was hiding?" My blood ran cold. Every instinct was telling me to run. But where? My mind scrambled for options. Should I lock myself in a room? Try to escape through a window? Instead, I stayed rooted to the spot, too terrified to move, listening to the silence outside. Then, I heard a scraping sound near one of the windows. I turned slowly, dread filling my chest as I realized whoever was out there was trying to open it. The lock held, but the scraping continued, relentless, like nails dragging across a chalkboard. Then, I heard that voice again, this time muffled through the glass. "I know you're in there." I backed away, pressing myself against the far wall, gripping my phone tightly. My hands were shaking too much to dial, but somehow, I managed to hit the emergency call button. The call connected, and I whispered, "There's someone outside my house. They're trying to get in." The operator's calm voice reassured me that help was on the way. I stayed on the line, feeling a little bit of relief, but the terror didn't fully fade. I could still hear the scraping at the window, the same whispering voice. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, I heard the sound of sirens in the distance. The scraping stopped. I moved toward the window just in time to see a dark figure sprinting away into the shadows. I breathed a sigh of relief as the police car pulled up, and two officers got out, shining flashlights around the yard. One of the officers knocked on my door, and I quickly let them in, explaining everything I had seen and heard. They assured me they'd check the area, and after a quick sweep, they said they'd let me know if they found anything. I thanked them, though I wasn't really expecting them to catch the guy. Whoever he was long gone by now. I locked the door behind them and turned to look at my dark, empty house. The silence was overwhelming, but I forced myself to calm down. I turned on all the lights, checked every room, and finally settled into bed, exhausted. Just as I was drifting off, a loud noise jolted me awake. It came from the living room, a loud bang, like something heavy had fallen. I sat up, heart racing, listening to the silence that followed. Then, I heard that whisper again, coming from the hallway. "I told you I'd be back."